you're watching TJM Farming here on YouTube. Now, you join us in the Kubota just beyond the gate between Bull Paddock and the laneway towards home. This is the first day that we actually have time to do feeding sheep and all that stuff on the farm here since the whole Keepthesheep stuff with me being on pre-pole and also going over to help one of the other farmers in the area with their rock picking. I've got the GoPro on charge at the moment, so I'm limited as to what I can do on the filming side of things. I hope the wind noise isn't too bad in the camera, but what I thought I'd do, we got the GoPro on the tripod at the moment, standing in the middle of the Kubota. What we'll do for the starters for this video is just to do a quick time lapse as we go about our work, and every now and again I'll stop that recording and I'll do a regular video recording to just give some context of where the farm is at in terms of 1st of May. Alright, we'll put it on time lapse mode, here we go. Number one, you can see where there used to be some kind of motorbike ramp here designed mostly for cattle. We've now got a double swing gate here. This is one of the latest additions that we've got in terms of infrastructure. For a sec, there we are. We only need to open that gate because we're bringing the Kubota through, but the plan will be if we need to bring something like the plough or the combine behind the Johnny with the jewels on the back of it, if we need to bring any of that through with the double gates, then that gate will be open as well. But right now, because it's just the side-by-side, it's just opening the original gate. Merino Ewes that we've got in this paddock, they've eaten down their hay bale, which I suspected would happen. They were running pretty low on feed last time I brought them out to the other ewe mobs on Sunday. Right, that just means that we'll need to bring the loader out later on today and put another hay bale out. Hop out, and hopefully I've got the trough plug on here. I know I've got the broom. Keep this brief because of the GoPro's battery and the wind noise, but basically this is what we call a sheep water trough that has a plug in the end of it. Most of the water troughs that you'll find on farms all across Western Australia and in Australia in general have this type of trough where you have what's called a trough bung or a trough plug. It's similar to like a plug at the end of a bathtub. What it does is it stops the water from going out of the end of the hole, and it has an overflow over here creating puddles on both sides of the sheep trough. The reason why we've got a broom here and a trough plug is because this helps loosen this when we undo it to let the water out, because oftentimes you have a lot of water pressure on this bung here, which makes it difficult to release it by hand. Now the reason why we need to brush out the trough is because, like all your water troughs and like your bathtub, after you bathe it gets pretty dirty. So the reason why we have a broom here is to sweep out all the gunk and ensure that the water, when the sheep come to drink out of this, it's all hygienic and it's nice and clean, and it will be so clean that you could dunk your head in and a human or a dog can drink from it, sometimes even bathe. Dogs like Bendy Sue here, the Kelpies, they generally love to take baths in the sheep troughs as well. Clean out the troughs just like so. But then when we're done, we take the trough plug, we put it back over the hole, like that, and we screw it in a clockwise formation to plug the hole at the end of the trough, and it should hopefully stop the water coming out. If it doesn't, that generally means it's cross-threaded, which means that you need to undo it and do it up again to make sure it's done properly. It's very important because if we do not look after our sheep's hygiene, so their water, their food levels, making sure that they're crutched so they don't have poo and all that other crap on their backside, we need to make sure that they're well looked after and they're in good condition, because if they're not, then they can get sick and then they will unalive. So this job's done. We grab the broom, we grab the trough plug, and we pop it onto the back here. Now, I do have around 5 or 6 of these mineral bags. These are to help supplement the sheep's food diet. As you can see, we've also got a salt lick block as well, which the sheep have started licking into. You can see the ridges along here. That shows they've been here. This is what we call a mineral bunk. As you can see, the sheep have been eating all of this down. Usually the pile from a fresh mineral bag when it's all unloaded is much more than this. You can see that the sheep have gone into it. They haven't eaten all of it down. This is to be expected as weaner sheep, which are basically teenagers. They're still trying to figure stuff out. So that's why they don't always come to the sheep trough, why they don't always eat the hay bales, and why they don't always go the direction you want to when you're trying to bring them into the sheep yards. The camera back down in the Kubota, and we'll put it on time-lapse mode again while I off-screen go and fill up the feed bunk. Currently we're in Northwest Paddock. The ewes in here, they haven't dropped lambs yet, but you may have noticed in the camera, I'm not sure how wide the lens is, but you may have noticed in the camera as we're passing through the previous paddock that we've got little white things running around. The ewes have started dropping, which is to be expected as we were expecting them to start having babies in May. But I was not expecting them to be dropping today. So what we need to do now, we're gonna race home, jump in the loader ASAP, and run these hay bales out so that the mamas and the babies can have something to eat. Time for mucking around. Let's just jump in, start the loader up, go take these hay bales out, and let's get it done. keep the loader away from the lambs because they don't like loud noises. Much like human babies, they don't tend to like that very much. I need to find a spot where the sheep can access it and do so in the shade. You can't see it in the camera, but to the right of the screen, the ewes and possibly the lambs as well. Can't see the lambs at the moment, but they're looking at me funny. Last time I took a hay bale out here, they did come over to see what I was doing. So what I might try and do, drop these here. And which one do I give them? I'll give them the left one. Oh, look at that, here they come. I'll back the loader off and then turn it off. And we'll see if they'll come talk to me. Girls, I'll unwrap this hay bale and then you can have some lunch, okay? Alright, come and get it, girls. Come on, come have some food. Oh, come on, come get it. I'll move the loader out the way so you can have some peace and quiet and I won't be watching you, okay? They're not very keen on having me be right up close to them. Because these sheep here, they're used to hearing a big scary noise and running away. They like to not necessarily come up and speak to me, but they will come about that close when I bring them a hay bale because they know that I'm the giver of food. So hopefully what's going to happen is while I'm taking this bale out to Northwest Paddock, the ewes and the baby lambs that have already dropped, they'll gather around that hay bale and they'll start eating it down. As I've elaborated on in previous videos time and time again, right now is this critical time period where, as you can see, there's no green feed or very little of it on the ground at the moment because we haven't had enough rainfall for this year. Currently the total rainfall for this year is sitting around 30-35 mils total, and our average for this area is supposed to be around 500 mils. So this is critical as to the reason why we have hay bales, because if we don't have hay bales then it's a terrible situation where if lambs drop and there's no feed on the ground, then yeah, it's grim. Now the Nor'westers, which is what I'm nicknaming this mob, technically they also have access to Sandalwood Plantation over there as well as Clark Road Paddock, but I'll just nickname them the Nor'westers because they're predominantly camping around this area because this is where I'm leaving the minerals and the hay bale. From what I can tell, these girls haven't had their lambs yet, but they are about to have babies any day now, so it's critical that we keep them fed, make sure they have water and make sure that they've got everything they need. Right, so the bale that I was carrying into that paddock's been fed, and let's go sneak over here and see if started coming over. And amongst that crowd there, you can see some little white speckles. Those are the merino lambs. We don't know how many we'll get, as well, I'm assuming they would have just started dropping yesterday, today. This is the 1st of May, by the way, so yeah. Let's keep going. We've got the rest of the sheep to feed. Dun-dun. That red speck you can see over there, that's Ruby. And I do believe Clarabelle's usually hiding behind the tree. Speaking of which, there's Clarabelle there too. Poor cows are hungry. Because in amongst bringing the hay out to the sheep for the past couple of weeks, I forgot to bring hay to the cows. We've only got the 2 of them, and at this stage we're not sure whether we're considering them actual livestock or pets. In a nutshell, we were originally planning to make roast beef out of them, but they were heifers, so we were thinking of, I don't know, maybe starting a small beef herd from them. But it's not exactly worth buying a bull for 2 cows, so we don't know what we're going to do at this stage. They're slowly coming over to me, probably expecting food. I think I'll need to run home and go get them some. They're thinking about it. If I can just zoom in. Yeah, they're definitely thinking about coming over, but they won't while the loader's here, they won't come over. Correction, make that total lamb count for today around 9. Because I saw a ewe and her lamb along the jumps in racetrack. They've gone to the others and hid from me because they don't like me being in here. But anyway, everybody's all fed now, everybody's got a hay bale. Let's go see the cows up close. Hopefully they haven't devoured the hay bale yet, because it is quite interesting watching them devour that hay bale. And then after that, I'll need to go jump in the ute with Bindi Sue, and we'll go feed out some pellets to the reject flock. No, you don't want me to watch you, do you? See, Ruby's got the right idea, but Clarabelle, which is the heifer on the right, she's not so sure. She's a bit camera shy, that one. Right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut over my arm on accident. We're going to open the gate enough so that we can get the lolly cart through, and we're just going to run through with the Kubota real quick and see what their pellet levels are like. If they're low on pellets, and that's a good thing, that means they should be in better condition than they once were. If not, well, then of course we'll just keep the ute in the trailer in the shed and won't worry about it. So in the large amount of footage in between the previous video and the video talking about Keepthesheep again, I put that hay bale out and we did minerals in this paddock. And just a fun fact, this very paddock around about this spot was actually where I filmed the second half of that video, responding to people's comments and talking about Keepthesheep. I know that video didn't do very well at the time recording this compared to some of my other videos. I get it, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I just feel like it's something that really should be discussed because it concerns this whole industry. We've got one bag of minerals left. Let's check the feed bunk over here. Is there any left? Oh, a little bit, but it's the stuff held right at the bottom. What we really need to check is the pellet level. Now, I did state in the Keep the Sheep video about the lolly cart and how we use it for trail feeding. You can see this is one of the trails it left behind. By the looks, yeah, it's mostly specks, bits and bobs here and there, like remnants of these pellets in amongst grains on the ground here. I do believe that Dad did 2 trails of the stuff in here. This was the original trail that we put out a couple of weeks ago, but I'm not sure where he put the other one. So we may as well do squiz running about the paddock trying to find it. But yeah, back to what I was doing. Minerals, put it in the feed bunk. Now, the reject flock is currently in Bull Paddock. They're hiding in here, in amongst those trees there. You probably can't see too well on the camera there, but they're definitely there. They're hiding in Bull Paddock here. And the goal was to try and feedlot them. But we don't have a feedlot. At least not a proper feedlot. We used to have what we call self-feeders. These are bins that you'd leave out in the middle of the paddock and you go along with some kind of auger or feed truck or bulker bag on the loader forks, and you'd go and feed it up. And you'd close the cover and then the sheep would just wander over and eat pellets out of that. On Nelly Creek we had about 10, 15 of those around the entire farm, but after Cyclone Seroja we couldn't find any of them. I betcha that only about 1 or 2 we could find were upside down in the island in Peter's paddock. We couldn't find any self-feeders left on that farm to bring down here, and any that we did know about, they were way out whoop whoop on the other side of the farm, and we just didn't have enough time to go grab them and put them on the truck and take them off the place before the new owners basically locked us out of the joint. So in this instance with feedlotting, what we've been trying to do is use pellets and the lolly cart and just go along and trail feed in the paddock. But Bull Paddock is actually big, like quite big. I think this is around, oh, I don't know, 40, 50 hectares, give or take. It's big. Not as big as Pine Tree. Actually, we'll clarify the hectareage on the screen now. But basically, this is not your average feedlot. We've been trying to trail feed these pellets out to the reject flock. But the problem with the reject flock is, because we haven't used the lolly cart for the past 2 years, because we haven't had the funds to buy lupins, the sheep don't know what the lolly cart is. For those who don't know, the lolly cart is what we call Dad's self-feed out bin. The reason why we call it the lolly cart is because back in the day we used to feed out lupins as opposed to hay pellets, and especially on Chilara when Dad's been using their self-feed out bin, more often than not the ewe mobs that he'd go and feed would chase him around the paddock saying, "Give us our lollies, give us our lollies, you bastard." That type of thing. They love lupins. Lupins are like chocolate for them. They eat it all up. The difference between lupins and chocolate, of course, is that they're still quite healthy for the sheep, but that's beside the point. For the past couple of weeks, we've been trying to trail feed pellets and trying to train the reject flock on what exactly pellets are. This is to try and fatten them up so that I do believe this weekend coming, Dad wants to shear the reject flock. I may not be able to film that because I'll be busy with something much more important, keep the sheep. But basically we're hoping that we can get the reject flock, which is sitting around 160, 175 sheep all up, we'll do a proper total once we actually shear them. We're hoping to get them all up to weight, so that when they're up to the correct weight, we can take them to the sale yards, and fingers crossed, we'll be able to get $150 per head for these sheep. That's enough rambling, back to work. Right, let's jump into the ute. And what I might do is we'll utilize this instead of the tripod, so that when we get out the paddock and we actually utilize the feed out bin, I'll put this with the GoPro so that you guys can be on the back of the ute watching the self feed out bin do its work. Hopefully it won't give me an SD card busy. Can everybody see the bin? I'll put you right about there, I think. What's gonna happen is I'll pull this rope from the cab and you'll see the chute open and feed will start to come out. Now, fingers crossed this is gonna work. I guess I didn't pull it harder. Whoops. Let's try that again. Yeah. That's pretty much empty. One last tug. And I think that's a lot. Yeah. And that's how it's done, pretty much. Hopefully I got some good footage from that. This is actually the first time ever that I'm using this. So yeah. Alright sheep, come get it. I'll leave you alone now. So at the time of recording this is the Thursday, May 1st. May 3rd is the federal election. As you know, I've been a proud supporter of Keepthesheep. And look, whatever happens on Saturday, to all my friends out there in the farming communities affected by this live export ban, I just want you to know this. Just know that on Sunday morning the sun will still rise. It's going to be a beautiful day Sunday because it will be raining all Saturday, so hopefully things will come up nice and green. And the sun will still come out, the sun will still rise, it will be a new day, and we'll just have to keep going, no matter what. Because through droughts, flooding rains, bushfires, and terrible market conditions, we've pulled through this. And whatever the outcome, I reckon we'll be alright. We'll be alright, we'll keep going. Just if you're feeling scared or depressed about all of this, make sure that you have a couple of mates to contact and keep your mental health in check. I'll be doing that, Mum and Dad will be doing that. We've got friends we can contact and talk about this, and yeah. So whenever you see this, be it Saturday or the Friday afterwards, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, and like, subscribe, comment down below, it always helps us out. And yeah, thanks for watching. My name's Noah, otherwise known as the Johnny Man. You've been my audience. Stay safe out there and keep the sheep. Thanks for watching.